Hey everybody, welcome. Great to see you at a live performance. I'm not one of the funny ones, I just want to manage expectations here, so I'm just going to make some really quick announcements and say first of all that this free event would not be possible without the anonymous donor who is an angel who came through and is not only supporting this event, but all of them through Memorial Day weekend. I don't even know who they are, but whoever they are, thank you so much. Also, huge thanks to IPJ Real Estate, who's our premier season sponsor. And I have to say, Tina Friml, who is the producer of this show, grew up in Middlebury, was about to go on a European tour right before the pandemic hit, is back in Middlebury and is about to fly off and do incredible things. And we're so grateful that she came forward and organized the show before she goes off to Brooklyn and LA and everywhere else. So thank you to Tina and all of the amazing performers who she's lined up tonight. We have a lot of wonderful summer events coming up. There are all kinds of flyers over there. We have Candide, which is a feature-length film directed by our artistic director and OCM artistic director, Doug Anderson, who's standing back there. He's also the founder of Town Hall Theater. Town Hall Theater wouldn't exist without him. I urge you to check it out. And then all kinds of other summer happenings. So pick up a flyer, have fun tonight, and thank you so much for being here with us.
All right, folks, thanks for coming out on a fairly frosty evening. Are you guys excited for comedy to come back? Yeah! Me too. My name's Mark Salvine, and I'll be your MC today. But before I get started, I just want to give thanks. Because I think I've got the best job in the entire world, you know? I get to make fun of everybody. I can insult people to their face. I can drink on the job. I love being a state trooper. Woo! Yeah! Comedy's pretty fun too. I don't know. We have a great lineup today. I'm very proud to be part of an all-star lineup covering the range of Vermont's comedians. I think they put me on the lineup to represent old white men. Because if it's not for me, where else are you ever going to hear what we have to say about things, huh? Oh my God, you guys, I had to go to the doctor the other day because I got health insurance. And she asked me a question that I thought was kind of peculiar. She goes, what exactly is your orientation? And I didn't really know how to answer that because, to be perfectly honest, it might be a different answer on a different day. So I was like, well, mostly portrait. Or it's sometimes landscape if I've been drinking a lot. But I do think we need to blow up some of these gender stereotypes we got, you know? Like, I'm not embarrassed to admit I have two adorable daughters who help me stay in touch with my feminine side. I'm not embarrassed to admit that I enjoy a tea party with stuffed animals as much as anybody in this tent. That mostly confuses them because they're in college now. They're really more into boys and beer, but I'm just not comfortable sharing those activities with them. Not yet, you know. No, but it's true though, you know, and like, we have all these rigid rules about men do this and women do that. I've never felt comfortable with any of that stuff. Like, I do a lot of behaviors that we code as feminine, like crying at movies or reading books or caring about people, you know. Stuff a lot of guys would think is gay, but no. And it's not only that, it's stuff like chores, you know, like in my household, I do all of the cooking and the cleaning and the shopping, mostly because of divorce, but still. No, I called up my ex. She wasn't going to do a thing. She wasn't even very nice about refusing me, you know, so. But you learn, it's not rocket science, you know, and I got pretty good at it. I got so good that I actually got remarried. Yeah, you can cheer to that, that's cool. I was happy, you know, to a smart, funny, successful woman. And after a show, somebody says, come on, why would a smart, funny, successful woman marry you? That's actually kind of a disturbingly good question. So I asked her, and she says, well, you know, like you have a really intense day at work, and then you want to come home and just enjoy something fun and dumb. And there you are, honey. But I get it, you know, like her work is really overwhelming, and I realize that it's my job when she comes home to underwhelm her right back down to earth so that she's evenly whelmed. Are you guys whelmed? You ready for your first headliner tonight? Okay, this show would not happen without your next headliner. You've just heard a bit about her, but from right here in Middlebury, made good, living in New York City now, touring all over the world, has performed at the famous Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal, and now for her triumphant return to Middlebury. How about a big hand for Tina Friml?
Hi! Oh my God! Look at this! This is insane. How are you? How are you? They're okay. They're okay. They're fine.
Now that you're here.
Okay, this is why I love performing in my hometown. The people in my life here, like you. And, oh my God! Ah! Okay, but for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Tina, and I am disabled. Don't worry, you're going to be okay. I mean, look, I'm kind of disabled, but not really, though, you know, I'm kind of half and half. Like, I'm not, like, totally committed to the lifestyle. You know, I'm a bit like the bisexuality of ability. You know, like a bi-abled, right? The Bibles, right? And so I'm like a bit of an enigma, right? Like people will see me and they don't really know what's happening, you know? They don't know what to say, but that doesn't stop them. So I get a lot of weird things said to me, right? Like, you don't look like you should be disabled. Yeah, like it's a Hogwarts house. They would never let me into Hogwarts, okay? I'll be a huge liability, you know? Like, they've got stairs that move, right? And like, the wands have that kind of voice activated series of technology that I just do not jive with, you know? I know that like, when miscommunication, and I would just end up setting fire to somebody's esophagus. Like, why can't you compliment me like a real person? You've got so much options. By the way, do you like these? Thanks. Well, okay, I know there's Middlebury, and this is a lot. I know it's like Friday night. It's the end of all this darkness. I kind of got like
No, but so before COVID hit, I lived out in Brooklyn. It was great, like, was having the real authentic New York experience, right? Like, it was great, like, I found a knife in a subway. It was amazing! So I picked it up, obviously, a souvenir, and I realized that, like, there's no unominous way to carry a knife through subways. Like, so I picked it up, big grin, right? Like, people got nervous, right? So I held it like blade down first, and I got power walks. People got even more nervous. Right? I held it like a pen, and people got even more nervous. And then I finally found out the only non-threatening way to carry a knife from point A to point B is give it to a child. But I came back to Vermont. I realized I'd rather be afraid of bears than COVID. You couldn't see a bear coming. But yeah, I mean, like a bit more about me. I'm 27. My dad, he's a good age. It's the oldest that I've ever been. Well, the thing that I like about being 27 is a bit of a threshold. You know, like, people are no longer asking, you know, if I'm in college. You would know if I didn't go to college, right? Because I'd be like a supervisor at Chili's, right? But I did. I got my bachelor's degree in journalism. So I'm a waitress at Chili's. Yeah, no, but like being this age, I'm on the apps, you know, I'm on Tinder. This is an old joke. I used to be on Tinder. I'm better now, but I used to. Well, the thing is, like, online dating is weird when you meet, right? Because of all these guys, they know about this, but they don't know about this, you know? Like, I feel like I'm catfishing everybody. So I'll read all the bios of all these Tinder guys. Turns out that a lot of guys are open-minded, right? And like, down for whatever. I used to think that down for whatever was a green light for me. I come to find out I don't so much need a guy who is down for whatever, right? But more a guy who's up for something very particular. It's been hard though, like, being in the whole pandemic at this age. I feel like I've like relived my whole teenage years within the last year. You know, like, I got my driver's license, finally. I got into weed. I played Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I didn't touch anybody. Yeah, but you know, I get just to kind of show all you guys that I am just like any of you, you know? Like, I've got good days and bad days, and whenever I do have a bad day, and I just want to disappear. I go out, I go to the bar, not to drink, but to like be around other people who have been drinking. Yes. I just blend right in. So like, I admit, like, I go out a lot, right? And I usually judge a club based on what the bouncer thinks I'm on, right? I admit, like, I am kind of a trick question to bouncers. You know, like, I'm a bit of a riddle. Like, my mouth says booze, but my hands say cocaine. Before I got off, I did want to say one short story, and that was, well, I miss people. This is so cool for me. Like, I missed all of you, you know, and even like all the weird things that happened to me after a show, I miss that. You know? Like, I know that. So, about 2 years ago, I was in Montpelier, right, doing a show that was like a fundraiser for the Vermont Democratic Party, right? And I got there, I crashed, duh, you know, and then I got off, right? And I went to the back of the room with all the food, duh. You know, and then a woman got up from her seat, came straight to me, and said, "Oh my God, I love that. That was so funny." I said, "Thank you very much." She said, "But I gotta be real. For the first half of your set, I was livid. I was furious because I thought that you were faking it." Okay, so this is what this woman thought was happening. So she thought that one day I got called to do a show, a comedy show, at the Vermont Democratic fundraiser. And I think to myself, yes. They'll love this shit. That's how I know that I can never win, right? Like, I can make a whole text of you laugh, but there'll always be one guy in the back saying he's not committing. I'm gonna get off now. But
Tina Friml, ladies and gentlemen. And just on a personal note, I want to say thanks to her for letting me join the show at the last second. I just moved here last year. Nobody even knows who I am. And I said, "Hey, you do comedy show? I'm a comic. I do a few minutes." And she was very generous to let me on. So one more time, Tina Friml. Your next headliner hails from Burlington. He was the 2017 funniest person in Vermont. I don't know what happened since then. How about a big hand for Tim Bridge?
All right, that's just my first live show in a long time, and that was a really mean way to bring me up. I haven't done comedy in over a year, and he's just like, "Hey, this guy might suck." All right, he's gonna come up here, and who knows? But in 2017, he was really good, and I was the best. I was the best in 2017. Hello, everybody. Hi. It's good to see faces and people. Hello. I've been indoors for a year. I didn't leave. Now I emerged like Gollum. How do I speak to people? What do I do to you? It's hard to follow a hometown hero type thing because she gets to come out and be like, I know you. I know, like it's the end of the Wizard of Oz. You are there. And you are there. I don't know fucking any of you. But it's nice to meet you. This is what I've only known. I lived in Brooklyn as well before the pandemic hit, and then I moved back in with my parents in Vermont for a year. So it's good to see and both of them. Oh, hi. Hello. Oh, people. It's been good. I've had a good year. No, I haven't. That's a lie. I lied. I just loudly lied. No one had a good year. Oh. How do I start? Fuck. I'm so sorry, everybody. I have a lot of nervous energy, and you're seeing it right now. You know I have nervous energy. You're looking at me right now. Okay, so pandemic. I was my pandemic project that I worked on after moving in with my parents was I went back to school. I went back to school to finish my degree. It is a film and television studies undergraduate degree that I've been working on for 10 years. And I know that you're thinking, hey, isn't that a long time to do something that sounds fucking easy? Yeah, it is, but shut up, okay? It's hard for me. But I've been going back to school, and school has had to become online. So I went back to school, and I went to online college. And let me tell you what isn't college. It's online college. When I went to college 10 years ago, when I started, it was as I imagined college was. I went into a room, and it was a bunch of chairs facing one person in a tweed jacket, and they were going, here are the things that I know! Write down the things I know so that you can now know the things! And then we would all sit there like, your knowledge is bestowed upon us! That's what college is. That's college. Online college isn't that. Online college is like you get an email that says, read all this shit. Good luck. And it's been hard. It has been difficult to kind of grind your way back into that. It has been fun living with my parents for a year. Again, another lie. It hasn't. There's been difficulty. Yes, I did not have to pay rent, but no, I did not get to live a human existence as a 28-year-old man. I promise I'm 28. I know I look young. I know I got a face that does not look that you're like, you have your driver's license? Did you drive here, young man? But I am a grown boy. It made like dating kind of hard because I would try and do that back in like August. Remember when we thought the pandemic was winding down? And like Phil Scott would get on TV and he'd be like, you can go to a restaurant if you want. It has to be at 50% capacity. And hey, if you want to go out and try and get some pussy, go for it, buddy. He said that. It was a weird news conference. He brushed it over because it's just Vermont. Like no one's really. We were like, he's doing a good job. We'll let it slide. Our numbers are low. We'll let that one slide. But it became difficult when I would go out and I would try and meet someone, and then it'd be like, oh, this is getting pretty hot and heavy. Do you want to go back to my dad's? I could probably fool around you in the basement. We must be quiet, for my 19-year-old brother goes to bed at 11. Is that a sexy scenario? Like what you're looking for. I do like that things are opening up. I'm not excited to get back into like the dating pool because I don't like that you get advice when you're single. I think it's crazy to give advice to someone on how to meet a person because everyone here who's a part of a couple or out there who's a part of a couple, you met your significant other in a phenomenally different way. So it's really weird for me to be like, oh hey, here's how to meet your future lover. No, that's not. Things don't work that way. So I got a piece of advice from a coworker once. She was just like, you just gotta put yourself out there. That's what you gotta do. You just gotta put yourself out there. And I was like, okay, well, what does that mean? And what does that specifically mean for you? And she was like, okay, I'll tell you how I met my boyfriend. I was out at a concert, and I saw him across the way. I thought he looked cute, but I didn't get to talk to him. And then after the concert, I was out on the curb. I was about to get into my Uber, and I saw him there. And I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go for it. So I mustered up the courage, and I walked over. I grabbed him by the hand and let him into the Uber. And we had a magical night, and we've been dating ever since. And I'm not trying to take away from that adorable story of how that couple got together, but I can't do that. Are you kidding me? Can't just be like, hey Tim, how'd you meet your girlfriend? Oh, well, I was at a concert. Didn't talk to her, just looked. And then later I dragged her into my car. And we've been dating ever since. Don't ask her if we're dating. Just trust me when I say that we are. Not looking forward to that. Looking forward to that dynamic. Ah, boy. This is the part of the set where I want to change gears and talk about something that I think is kind of important for a story that is very ridiculous. Good. Premise accepted. Let's move forward as a group. I think that it's important, and I think we all know it's important to get vaccinated. That it's important to get vaccines and to get your shot, not only for COVID, but for flu season. All the good stuff. You don't want people walking around with polio. It was gross back then, and we don't want it anymore. So I was doing a comedy show at a comedy club indoors, way back, 3 years ago. And it was at the Vermont Comedy Club in Burlington, Vermont, which is a wonderful place. Go there when it opens up and support them. They're good people. But before the show started, I was set to host the show. One of the servers came up to me and they said, hey, I don't know if you want to do something about this when you're up there, but someone left this in the bathroom. And it was like a little card that essentially said, the only good vaccine is a vaccine not administered. And so I went up on the stage and I said, hey, who put this in the toilet? You weirdo, don't do that. If your ideology is something that you can't just come out and say, here's what I think, that you have to put your pieces of paper in the toilet, maybe your ideology is shit and belongs there. Didn't think much of it, continued the rest of the set. After I was sitting out at the bar and a middle-aged white woman walked up to me. I was as shocked at the demographic as you all were. But a middle-aged white woman walked up to me and she said, during your set you talked about how you have anxiety, and I thought you might want to do a little research. And then she handed me this card. And don't get me wrong, I love being diagnosed by strangers. Oh, that's my favorite thing. Do it to me. Walk up to me and tell me what's wrong with me, you doctor. But I just want to talk about this briefly before I step off stage today, and how it's kind of a crazy thing. First of all, why is it that everyone with a batshit crazy political ideology is also crazy bad at graphic design? Because this is a nightmare. I don't know if you can see, there's so much on here. It's very busy. You gotta be quick and to the point. There's no one. Just go to one Photoshop class, and you'll know that this is we're not gonna convince anyone. But on this side of the card, it's got like a weird L, white L, and then a black square. And in the black square, it says what ingredients are in vaccines, and in the white square, it says what side effects you get from vaccines. And in the what vaccine ingredients include, it goes everything from MSG, that stuff in Chinese food. That makes it delicious, exactly. I don't want to inject that in my body. I do it in my mouth every Friday night. I'm gonna do it tonight. Aluminum, lactose. My favorite one that it says on there of what it includes is it says that it includes viruses, which, yeah, that's how they work. That's how vaccines work. But they cover their tracks, and this is the thing that I want to say about anti-vaxxers. They'll never be able to be convinced of anything else, and it's because they do a great job of covering their tracks, because it says vaccine side effects include anger. And that's beautiful. Because if you tell me, hey, vaccines cause autism, and I say, that's fucking bullshit, you can just be like, see? Look how angry this vaccinated man is. So I know I don't have to tell y'all, but you get vaccinated, and thank you all so much. This has been a joy. Keep laughing, keep having a good time, and give it up for everybody at the show. Have a good day.
Tim Bridge! One of the 5 funniest comedians in Middlebury in 2021 tonight. I just want to say, I've been in a lot of comedy clubs and they often have painted backgrounds that are signs of the city and stuff. But how about the live waterfall that Tina arranged just for this club? That was not cheap. All right, your next comedian, also from Burlington, tours all around Boston, Chicago, New York. How about a big hand for the very funny Ash Diggs?
Hi! Oh! Alright, yeah, let it die down. That's about right. Fade into quiet. Hi, everyone. I'm Ash. I guess, I'll let you know a little bit about me. Right before this show, I was at the Shaw's around the corner. I did the blood pressure machine for fun, and apparently I have hypertension, so that's new. Is it fun? I don't know, but it's what I'm starting with. A little bit more about me. I'm 26. I'm wondering how much longer I can call myself a recent grad before needing to transition to the, at this point, more accurate adult who was not doing too well. The most significant thing I've done since graduating is beginning and subsequently kicking a cocaine habit. Yeah, okay, thank you. No, don't clap. I shouldn't have started. It's crazy. Cocaine is, it's fun. We all know this. It's hard to stop. And it's also, cocaine is kind of like combos. Do you guys know what combos are? Yeah, right. They're that pizza pretzel snack that I think they're legally only allowed to sell at gas stations that don't have a light outside. If I explained to you what a combo was, like chemically what it was, you'd think, oh, I don't want that. But if you tried one, you'd go, oh, I'm gonna eat this until it kills me. That's essentially what cocaine is like. It's a good time. It's a good time. Putting the bag down's hard. I don't know, today's been weird. I'm happy to be here with you guys. This morning, not this morning, Jesus Christ, this afternoon, I was buying some beer. Let me just give you all my problems at once. We're gonna front load with that. I went to buy some beer and I walked out of the store and a man came up to me with his shirt was off, shirtless, and he had a tattoo on his rib cage of the bunny from the Trix Rabbit cereal, you guys, and not like a small one. I'm talking like a regulation-sized rabbit here. It was like his whole rib cage, and he goes, "Hey man, can I have a beer?" And I was like, well, he seemed probably kind of down on his luck on account of the shirt-off Trix tattoo in the middle of the day, and I said, "Sure, man, why not?" Because I'm guessing based off the tattoo, like this guy's only passionate about 2 things, right? Rabbits and cereal. I said, hey, let me give him a beer. So he takes the beer, he looks at it, and then he whips it across the street. And he goes, ha! Gotcha! And then he ran away. He sprinted away. And I was honestly more upset with myself because I thought he loved cereal. I thought he loved rabbits. But he led with the fact that more important to him than anything were tricks. And I got tricked. Yeah, that's the appropriate reaction. This guy went, ah! Yeah, that's right, sir. You got about 9 more minutes of it. No, I am really excited to be here with you guys. Obviously the last year has been insane. Spending a year by myself in my apartment was wild, and then for COVID to come around and me to have to do it again, wow. It was hard, but the quarantine wasn't all bad. I picked up some hobbies. I got really into wine. I became a big wine guy. I started with different bottles of wine, as one does. And I graduated from there to boxed wine. Right? Yeah, all right. Where are my Franzia friends and my Boda bastards at? We're in here. I went from that to boxes of bottles of wine, which is really the way to go. It's through this subscription service called Bright Sellers. It's online. What you do is you fill out a little quiz, and they send you 12 bottles of wine that they think you'll like. It's really pretty cool. It's kind of like Blue Apron for people who aren't divorced but would like to be. It's great. The delivery is contactless. They just leave the box at your door, and then they write, "You're just like your mother" in red lipstick on your window. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. If anyone wants a promo code, come find me after the show. I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up. But I don't know. I got really into that, and I started smoking a little bit of weed over quarantine. Got into that a little bit since it's legal here. I thought, why not? Let me dabble. And I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea. You know, I'm not smoking weed all the time, right? I'm not smoking weed full time. I do it like 20, 25 hours a week max, right? It's not full time, but and it doesn't pay, but the health benefits kicked in immediately, which were very nice. A lot of people say that weed isn't addictive, and I don't think that's true at all. I don't think it's true at all. It's hard not to do it all the time, okay? Smoking weed made heating up soup the most fun I've had in a calendar year. I'm not gonna not do it every day. I kind of think I might just have an addictive personality also, but my therapist said there's no such thing, and to that I also say I don't know, because I had one Mandarin, a couple months ago, and I kind of liked it, so I've had 9 every day since. I'm serious, I have a bag of mandarins in my car right now. I love them. So after the show, if you need a promo code for Bright Sellers and a Mandarin, come find me. I got a dog about 6 months ago. I got a dog, which I'm sure is a big shock based on everything I just told you leading up to this. But he's my favorite living thing in the world. He's a rescue. He's 7. His name is Boogie, and he's got some baggage. He's got some baggage. He makes those Sarah McLachlan commercials look like a Golden Girls reboot. I know someone's saying, "Oh, it's okay. He's better now. We're taking care of it." We go to a lot of classes. He's come a long way. And I was actually late to this show tonight because I had to take him to one of his classes. And I found out about the show a couple months ago, and I texted the instructor, and I was like, "Hey, I actually have something on the 28th. Would it be okay if Boogie and I missed class that night?" I sent the text. Within 30 minutes, or within 30 seconds, I get a phone call. And without even saying hi, the instructor is just like, "Ash, would you let a recently released convict miss their first meeting with their parole officer?" "Would you do that?" I was like, "Oh my God, Sharon, calm down. It's not like my dog has killed anybody that I know of." He's a really cute dog. He's got these big, beautiful eyes that if you twisted my arm and begged me to give you an adjective, I'd describe them as human-y, a little human-like. It's one thing to deal with a dog that's throwing a tantrum. It's another thing to deal with a dog that locks eyes with you and makes you say out loud, "Did you used to be a person? Did a witch do this to you?" I've let friends meet my dog and they're like, "Oh my God, he's so cute and his eyes are amazing. I feel like he kind of reminds me of someone," and I'm like, Is it Bundy? Is it Ted Bundy? He's got murder in his eyes. But no, he's the best. I love him so much, and I was honestly really thankful to have him because a couple weeks ago I was very, very sick. I was probably the sickest I've ever been in my life. I actually was diagnosed with shingles. This whole crowd. Yeah, where my shingle fellas at? This side of the crowd. It's bad. It's a really bad disease, and mostly people get it when they're older. And my doctor was like, "Wow, it's kind of rare for someone this young to get it." And so what I got, my special prize for getting shingles at 26, was 3 weeks of excruciating pain and an early access to a platinum level AARP card, which actually pretty nice. I didn't even know what AARP was. I'm really into it now. Shingles is crazy because for people who don't know what shingles is, it's the same virus as the chicken pox. And it's kind of like if the chicken pox was like a skinny hippie in the 70s, they got drafted, went to Vietnam, and came back a couple years later very strong and super fucked up, okay? All right, let me write that down. Crowd did not love comparing shingles to Vietnam veterans. Okay, got that for next time. No, it was really awful. Honestly, if you haven't gotten the shingles vaccine, go do it. Another thing about it is that it's contagious. It can be very contagious. But like, if I were to give you, sir, shingles, if you hadn't already gotten the chickenpox vaccine, I wouldn't give you shingles. You'd get the chickenpox, probably. Now, I was seeing someone at the time and had to call them and let them know the news. And I, honest to God, wish it had been an STD. I really do. It's an easier conversation. Think about it. It's 2021. The conversation around STIs and STDs, most progressive it's ever been. People are open-minded to conversation. It's been destigmatized. You know what has not been destigmatized? Adult chicken pox. No one wants it. No one wants it. The phone call was excruciating. I took the phone out and I was like, "Hey Siri, call Rebecca Tinder." Hey, yeah, it's Ash from last night. Blue sweater, yeah, I'm still wearing it. I know last night was crazy. Remember when we saw that clown car that looked like it could fit, I don't know, 2 clowns max? And then like 9 got out of it? Anyway, I was just calling to see if you've been vaccinated. Against COVID? No. Chickenpox? We did not see each other again. I've been getting a lot better now. I just moved into a new apartment, but it's not exactly my cup of tea. Mostly because I don't like shitty cups of tea. The apartment's a mess. It's upside down, and it probably doesn't help that my roommates are, how do I say this, gremlins? They might be gremlins. Okay, the first weekend I was there, I cleared out 33 empty beer cans from the living room and taught them how to use their vacuum cleaner. Leading one of my gremlins to tell me that I was like their Mary Poppins. I cannot stress to you enough, this is not the relationship I was trying to establish. Look, I knew I was moving in with college kids, so I wasn't expecting the lap of luxury. But I also wasn't expecting to be moving into the equivalent of what I imagined would happen if a Heineken opened a hostel. Okay? It's terrible. One of the cans that I got rid of was an empty Four Loko can that had a fork violently jammed into the side of it. When I asked the controversial question, "Why is this like this?" one of my gremlins, let's call him Gizmo for the rest of the story, he goes, "Well, I really wanted the Four Loko, but the tab up top was too tight. I couldn't figure out how to open it. So I saw that fork there, decided to go to town on it." So just to recap, not only am I living with actual garbage pail kids, but one of them stabs things that confuse him. It's not safe. I'll leave you guys with this. I mentioned kind of earlier the Boda box and all that stuff. I've been trying to cut my drinking back because right before the pandemic, I had one of those nights out that kind of got away from me, where the next morning I didn't want to check my bank account. You know, that kind of night gets away from you. Yeah, and you know, the last time that happened to me, I was in college, had one of those nights, checked my bank account the next morning after being out, and I was missing $500. $500. And I say missing because I thought even at my worst, I wouldn't spend $500 on alcohol, right? Checked my wallet, my debit card was gone, and I thought, aha, a crime happened here. Clearly, I've been stolen from. So I go to the last bar I remember being at, I open the door. As soon as I walk in, the bartender looks up and goes, "Oh, this fucking guy!" Bad sign. It's not like good news was gonna follow that. It's not like he was gonna go, "Oh, this fucking guy cured non-Hodgkin's lymphoma last night." It's not what happened. He goes, "Come here. I bet you feel like ass right now. But what you did, it takes balls." What a horrifying thing to hear with no context whatsoever. I said, "What happened?" He goes, "You had 9 shots of pineapple vodka. Disgusting. And then you got up on the bar and yelled, 'Everybody, Bud Light's on me!' and then everybody had a Bud Light on you. I was upset for a couple of reasons. One, because it turns out I was the thief in this story. Thought it was a whodunit, no dice, me did it. And two, what kind of bargain brand baller shit is that? To get up on the bar and have the audacity to say, "Everybody, drinks on me, Bud Lights only though." No heavies. Thankfully, that's not what happened last year. I checked my bank account, was not missing $500, but I did have 4 separate individual charges of $3.99 from Amazon.com that I had no recollection of. So I went over to Amazon to see what I got me. And it turns out that I rented, not bought, rented the 2004 Will Smith blockbuster vehicle, iRobot, 4 times. So after the show, iRobot on me, everybody. Thank you guys, I'm Ash Diggs. Give it up for your host.
Ash Diggs, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, your final comedian of tonight. You've probably heard her regular appearances on Vermont Public Radio. And I have a little advice, if you could pass it on to your friends at VPR. I think they're a little low self-esteem, you know? I mean, it's the highest rated station in the state. It's doing great work. I think they need to get cocky like a heavy metal station. You know, none of this brave little state. No, they need to come out, VPR, the Viper. Anyway, you should tune in a couple times a week. She's on there doing some really great comedy. It's very dark, very dry, straightforward, you know, straight-faced comedy. It's really cool stuff. How about a big hand for the Deputy Commissioner of Health for Vermont, Tracy Dolan.
Thanks, everybody. Great to be here. So, a little bit about me. I grew up in a trailer park. Anybody? Woo! Hi. I get it. Middlebury's a little fancy. That's okay. I'm not trying to stand up here and be all like, oh, I'm so much better than you, because I grew up in a home that can move. Our parents made different choices. Like, your parents decided to buy a home with a foundation, sir, and that is fine. My parents decided to buy a home that in a light breeze can magically rise up into the air, spin around, and turn into a meth lab. It's just different, you know. So my town that I grew up in is a small town in northern British Columbia called Prince Rupert. It had the recent dubious distinction of being the first town in Canada to be mass vaccinated. Because why? Because we have the highest COVID rate in the country. We're #1! Yeah. So when I say the whole town got vaccinated, I should clarify. The whole town except my mom. Yeah. Nellie Dolan, no vaccine for her apparently. Yeah. I said, Mom, what's going on? And she said, well, I want to wait a while. Yeah, Mom, you're 93. I don't know how many whiles you have left, you know? And the problem is, you know, it's because I am involved in the pandemic. And for a long time, my mother has had, I don't know how to describe it, a low sense of my credibility, I guess. So I feel like I'm personally contributing to her hesitancy at this point, you know. She said, well, I just don't know what's in it. Like, I don't know if the science is all clear on that. For a little context, in terms of like what's in it, my mother is Catholic. She's been going to church ever since she was born. She's 93 now. She's been taking the communion, the little wafer, once a week since she was 3. Quick math, at least 4,000 times she's ingested that. I don't know for sure what's in it, but I know that it's delivered by a man with his bare hands with a questionable ethic. And, you know, like, Mom, I don't know, I haven't seen the latest peer-reviewed research on the Eucharist, have you? I swear, it's all about my credibility. I feel like we're at the apex now. Like, she's willing to, like, risk her life just to, prove me wrong. And if she were on a ventilator right now, she'd be, like, pulling it away, saying, your brothers were better at science. So we were trying to figure out how we could get her to finally agree to being vaccinated. She does have a healthcare provider that comes to her house every 2 weeks to check on her. She's not sick or anything. It's just that, she lives in Canada and they just give you free stuff, So it's like, take your health care, You know how those socialists are. So she gets this nurse. She refers to him as a male nurse. I think most of us would just call him a nurse. And he comes to her house every couple of weeks. And we said, can you please try to, convince her? And she described, she loves this nurse, and she described him to me. She said, he's wonderful. He's really good at what he does. He's Filipino. My mom is uncomfortable saying anyone's race or ethnicity in a regular talking voice because she thinks it makes her impolite. She said, I don't want to seem impolite. And I don't have the guts to tell her, when you whisper it like that, it makes you seem racist. So anyway, she was sitting with Rodrigo. He came over, and he talked to her, and he really tried to convince her. He said, your whole family really wants this. It's really important for you. And after about 10 minutes, he got her to change her mind, which was amazing. And she described it later, and she said, while I was thinking about it, he held my hand, and she said she found that very comforting. And now she's going to get vaccinated, which is very exciting. So, the last person in my hometown, my mother. Yeah. So the pandemic's been very exciting for me. I entered the dating scene, which was very exciting. Got a hot new boyfriend. On a scale of 1 to 10, he's like a 9. I'm like a 6. Depends. I guess the exchange, Canadian exchange rate's about 70 cents on the dollar, so technically I'm closer to an American 4, but if you just agree I was a 6, I'd feel better. It's a lot of work being out there, so to speak. There's a lot of hair appointments and crunches and, a lot of stuff. Also, I've been buying matching bras and underwear. I haven't done that since the Clinton administration. That's very expensive. Very expensive. And some people say, you know what? Come on, man. This guy asked you for your number. He's a 9. It's never going to last. But you know what? When you're a 6 and God opens the door and a 9 walks in, I'm pretty sure God wants you to have a lot of sex with that 9. And who might have questioned his will? I've been really reflecting on myself over this pandemic. Now that I have this boyfriend, you kind of see yourself in a different light. And I've been thinking about some self-improvement. I've noticed, for example, that when he's talking, sometimes I have trouble following along, a little trouble focusing. I do this with a lot of people. I was like, maybe I have ADD, So I went online, I did one of those screening tests. I don't have attention deficit disorder. Turns out what I do have is a profound lack of interest in other people's lives. I went to the doctor, I asked what I could do about it, and she suggested I should become a better person. Blue Cross Blue Shield does not pay for that. They do not. I got a couple of kids, 2 teenage daughters, and I'm already a pretty good mom, obviously. But I'm always looking to do some research to see how I can become better. I read a study recently out of Harvard. They said the single most effective thing that you could do to ensure that your kids are going to be successful is to give them chores, which I thought was great news. I called my kids over, I told them all about it. And then later that afternoon, we were out prepping the garden for the spring, ripping out everything from last year, digging in, the new frames. And after about 15 minutes, my oldest daughter, my 16-year-old, she took off her gloves. She threw them on the ground. And she said, "I don't even want to be successful." Which honestly was a bit of a relief. Because I'm putting in granite countertops. And I've been really struggling with whether or not to dig into her college fund to pay for it. I feel like she gave me the green light. Probably the thing I missed the most during the pandemic was some of the big events that happen in my community. One of the biggest events that happens in my community, you'll probably recognize this, pretty epic. It's called the Middle School Spring Show. What? And some of you might be thinking, what's so great about the Middle School Spring Show, Tracy? I'll tell you what's so great about it. Nothing. It's a solid 2 to 3 hours of underwhelming entertainment at best. And you can't blame the kids, you know, they're like 12, 13 years old. They're up there singing and dancing, you know, and they're doing their best. It's just their best is pretty shitty. If you go to one of these middle school spring shows, you know which parents have been there before because they're out pre-gaming in the parking lot. Last year before the pandemic, I'm walking in and I see Lindsay Monroe, soccer mom extraordinaire. She's sitting in her souped-up SUV with the heated seats, bent over, doing lines of coke right off the dashboard, just to get through the show. And you can't blame these parents, you know, because before you go to the middle school spring show, you got to take care of you. And that's all they're doing. So my last show, I was in there, I was a volunteer, and my job was to get all the kids together at the end of the show and bring them up for the final bow. So I'm in the back, there's about 100 kids lined up in the hallway, and I gotta admit it, I'm feeling a little aggressive. You know, the kids can sense I'm not well, they're stepping back. And I'm like, you guys, you're gonna go, 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 go. You're gonna get up on the stage, you're gonna bow at the same time, and then you're gonna get off the stage so we can go home. And then one of the other moms comes over, and she says, "Excuse me, Tracy, I have an idea. How about, instead of sending the kids all up at the stage at the same time to bow, we send them one at a time, so they can each feel special in their own applause." And I said, "That's a good idea. Here's another idea. You do that, I'll go to the ladies' room, cut myself, and then lie down in a pool of my own warm blood. And you can come and get me when it's finished." I'm a big hit with the other moms. It was really nice talking to you. Thank you.
Tracy Dolan, ladies and gentlemen. Our collective health is in her hands. So have a good evening thinking about that. Folks, thank you so much for coming out and enjoying the show. How about a hand for all of the comics you've seen tonight? Tracy Dolan, Ash Gibbs, Kim Bridge, and Tina Friml. Yeah! And I bet your MC Mark's all night. Hey, folks, do us a favor. If you enjoyed the comedy tonight, in September, the Vermont Comedy Club is going to be opening up again in Burlington. And come up and go watch us. I'm gonna try to get on. They're all gonna be there. And I can even give some of you a ride up while I'm up there trying to hustle a few minutes at speech time. So, because I live right over here. So, anyway, thanks again. Thanks to Town Hall Theater for putting on this show. Thanks to the anonymous sponsor who paid for it. And have a good evening. Take care.